And it's time for the final figure in the Marvel Legends Build-A-Figure Infinity Ultron Wave. It's Kate Bishop, as played by the wonderful Hailee Steinfeld. Isn't she amazing? Yes, she is. And you can only say her name in the same way that Florence Pugh does, which is Kate Bishop. And if you don't, then you're a smelly doo-doo head. Anyway, let's crack this figure open. It's based on the Disney Plus series Hawkeye. It's her in her outfit from the final episode. She also comes with Ultron's right leg, because why not? Articulation, speaking of legs. There's a pivot in the ankles, no swivel in the butte. There is a double knee joint, there is a swivel in the top of her thigh, and there is, of course, some movement of the crotch. No waist articulation, despite the pieces seemingly being separate. Very dodgy, keep an eye on that one. She has a rib crunch. She also has tiny Spider-Man butterfly shoulder articulation points. I think that's the official name, I don't know. Her shoulder moves, her upper arm moves, she's got double elbow joints. Nice! Still trying to introduce this to more of the female-bodied figures, and I'm glad that they are. Wrist articulation, and articulation in the head, which is slightly hampered somewhat by her quiver. The articulation may be a hindrance, but their likeness is fantastic. This looks so much like Hailee Steinfeld, right down to the little freckles on her cheeks. And yeah, that's really getting on my nerves. She has a quiver as a strapped-on piece of equipment. That is nice. It means it's not going to wiggle free or drop off at any point, although of course it does mean ponytail issues, blah 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 blah. But detail on the rest of the costume is fantastic, right down to the tiny arrow tips on her belt, the texturing on the jacket. Her bow is pretty great. It's not quite as good as Clint's, but it's pretty decent. She also comes with a spare pair of hands for more, flamboyant gestures, or just looking kawaii, which you'll see in a second. This figure is great. Again, I love the Matt Fraction Hawkeye run that this character's look here kind of comes from, and I loved her performance in the show. So it's great to have this figure in my collection going all kawaii, and I highly recommend her. We've got one more review coming up, and it's of Ultron. Ooh.